Now back to Fitz and Brooks.
All right, so Rod, we're going to have fun with Bob here, and he'll play along, I know. When you represented guys, the elixir that they have at certain places, it's on the top shelf. It's called last year of your contract. And guys that have little sips of that, they really seem to play well in the last year of their contracts. Do you know why that is?
No indication. You know how I knew, Bob? This is how I knew it was the last year of the deal. I got a lot more phone calls that year.
Is that right?
A lot more, hey, can you get
I love you, Bob.
Game?
How are you?
Well, yeah, hey, don't you think you should meet with the GM of the team? I mean, did you see my line last night? So it's, look, I mean.
But now you're on the other side. I mean, you're a GM, and you know how the game works. So how do you take your knowledge from your days as a player agent, transfer that to you now being a GM, and use it to your, I guess, advantage?
I would say, Rod, that worrying about your next year never makes you a better player. Right. That would be my advice. That was my advice to the clients either. Worrying about it, stressing about it, never improves your performance on the floor. So what I would tell guys is, it's a long season. If things weren't breaking right entirely, it's a long season. Keep your reputation intact. Don't become somebody that is out in the media commenting on minutes or playing time, because that's one surefire way of eroding your value in the NBA. Be a good soldier. Go do everything you can before, after practice, and good things will happen. And then also, I would tell guys, don't burn the bridge within your own organization, because you always want to be a player that the own organization wants you back. Because what happens is, if your own organization has no interest in bringing you back, it sends a subtle message to the rest of the league in regards to what's going on with this guy and why don't they want him back. Now, obviously, if it's a situation where you can't pay him and he makes quite a bit more somewhere else, that's a little different. That means the player made out well, and obviously he's happy. But if you're out there saying to the other GMs, hey, look, we're not bringing that guy back, that doesn't bode well for a lot of players. So you tell them to keep doing what they're doing and keep their head down, and usually good things will happen.
Take me through one of the unfun parts of being a GM, in that summer is the silly season where everybody with a laptop can create or fabricate trades and signings and stuff that just factually aren't true.
Yeah.
And if you're a GM, it's almost like, hey, do I respond to this stuff and give weight to goofiness? Do I, behind the scenes, reach out to the players themselves and say, look, we're not involved in this stuff? How do you handle that? Because I read a few things, and I make a few phone calls and find out.
Right.
But most fans can't do that, and players are human beings, and they don't want to feel like, hey, I thought I was a part of what we're doing, and now I'm not. I mean, how do you handle all that stuff?
Well, I would ask you guys. I mean, I would ask the public, because to me, the issue in the media, and a lot of it is with Twitter, is how accountable are some of these reports. So, Bob, when you look at the media and you're reading the media, what percentage belief do you put in it? Do you put in 80%, 50%?
Well,
60%?
To me, I don't know. I'm not going to speak for Rod. I'll let him speak in a second. Is that I look at it as a Mark Stein or a Sam Amick or people with credibility.
Right.
I know they, but when I see people, I have a source. Well, I know you and you don't.
Yeah.
So I mean that's kind of where I put it.
What do you think, Rod?
I mean, it's. Oh, man, I kind of hold my nose and go, okay, this could be about 25-30% true. But if it's not backed up with the guy that I either know or know of, so I'm talking about our man Mark here, or if it's Marcus Thompson, with you guys, or Adrian Wojnarowski, Sam Amick. If those names are not attached, then I don't even bother with it. If it happens, it happens. Most time it doesn't. So
well, I would tell you this to both of you. When you see a lot of these reports, actually, when this past free agency, we were doing a lot of work. I had no time, and I don't think anybody had any. I certainly didn't, to look at what was being reported in the media.
Right.
So if something came to me from an agent or a player that said, "Hey, can you call me?" or "Hey, I heard this," if it was coming to me where somebody was concerned, then I'd pick up the phone and call that agent or player. I was a little bit proactive because I heard rumblings that some of our players' names were out in the media, and I wanted to dispel that. But I only dispelled that privately. We didn't call the reporter and say, "Hey, by the way, you got that wrong."
No, it's not worth it.
But if it is a player that is erroneously being mentioned in a trade or something like that, I'd make it a point to call that guy and say, "Look, first of all, that's not true. Second of all, nobody's untradeable. It's a business.
Right.
Just calm down, But everybody's so sensitive. Exactly. But I mean, guys, everybody knows. I mean, how many players in the NBA stay on their same team, never get traded? I mean, 5%?
Right.
Or I don't know what it has in other sports. So you never want to say something you can't back up. But at the same time, most of the things that are reported, at least in our case recently, we're not accurate.
Hey, put it this way, and it's easy to bash on ESPN because, well, it's ESPN and it's easy. But if ESPN is being breathless about it, whether it's on television or on ESPN.com.
Well, I would say this too, guys. I mean, I've heard from a lot of these reporters, whether it's the local guys or national guys, there's a lot of pressure not to be right, but to be first.
Yeah.
And I understand.
I know that for a fact.
These guys have, it's a very difficult job. I have a lot of respect for their work ethic and how hard they go about reporting the news, and a lot of people rely on the news. But when you're being told that your primary objective is to be first, your secondary objective is to be right, that's an issue, right? And the people just need to understand that. And then when you understand that, it makes you realize and take what you see and hear a little differently.
Tell us, and we can backtrack because it's done, but being in the Dwight Howard conversations, I take that as if there's talent anywhere, the Warriors are going to be going after it. Good, bad, or indifferent, you want to be at the table. You've always told me that. Like before, the Warriors could never get a seat at the table, or it was a holiday and they were at the kids' table. Right. Now you're at the big table. Right. But being in those things, interesting, fun, different. I mean, tell people what you can. Anyway.
Well, no, I'll tell you what. I mean, fun is probably the wrong word. I mean, because fun would mean it wasn't. I mean, there's pressure in what you do when you work for an organization and you feel like you're a little bit of a steward to the public. And
you don't have a problem that Rod and I didn't want the Warriors to get Dwight Howard. I love Bob. I hope it doesn't work out.
Yeah. No, but you know what? A lot of pressure to be at that table, but with that comes responsibility. But our mantra and our objective within the organization, starting from Joe Lacob on down, is we're trying to get better every minute, every hour, every day. Okay. So if that means there's an opportunity to look at something that makes your team better, you're going to look at that. That doesn't mean you're going to pay the price to acquire whatever that is, but it means you're going to look. It's irresponsible not to look at players. That being said, you have to balance that with how those things are portrayed within your own team, chemistry, the fragility of chemistry. But I will tell both of you guys, a lot of people said, are you done now, Bob? Are you guys done? No.
You're never going to be done.
Something could happen right now.
Yeah, you're never going to be done.
You don't just all of a sudden say you're done trying to make your team better. We didn't win a championship. And look, even the Heat are probably trying to do things to make their team better. So you're always trying to work towards it. And just that's kind of how we approach any chance to get our team better.
Was the sticking point that the Lakers wanted Fitz and Brooks and you were unwilling?
No, we would have traded you guys in 1 second. Gone. Rod, I offered you all around the league. It would have taken 6 firsts to move you. I had first going out to 2025. No interest. Yeah, right. Yeah. I guess you had a good year last year.
Rod, I'm going to let Bob go with this one. I think, you don't play it up a lot, but a local guy that was a Warrior fan that is highly competitive. See, I think because you handle the media and you're smooth and you're a lawyer and you're smart, people don't realize you grind like playoff games and regular season games. It matters to you. You take it home, and you are constantly like, how can we incrementally get better all the time? I think fans need to know that's kind of who you are.
Yeah. Well, look, I think maybe it's because of walking on at UCLA. There's a lot of things in my life that have taught me that hard work pays off, and that's just how I approach the job and being competitive. I view having that competitive element in yourself. Either have it or you don't. You either get hit, PO'd when you lose at Monopoly, or you don't. You either want to win in ping pong or you don't. And so it's inside of me, and it's inside of Jerry West, inside of Joe. That's the culture we're trying to breed in our organization. We got a head coach that's ultra competitive. We play pickup games with our coaching staff. It gets somewhat violent at times, but that's just who I am. It actually makes the job a little harder, because you care too much, but I think it makes you better at your work if you're competitive within it.
Yeah, Rod and I are not competitive, which is why we're just kind of, that's it. Thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Rod.
That is Bob Myers, the GM of the Warriors. We're going to talk to Harrison Barnes and Steph Curry. He's the best. He stunk at UCLA, but it's made him much better at his job now. Knock out the traffic with Matt Kolsky.